Sometimes the greatest power lies in silence. In a world that expects noise, confrontation, and immediate reactions, a silent woman is often misunderstood as weak. But those who misinterpret silence fail to see its true strength. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's the ability to absorb, reflect, and understand before responding. It's the shield that protects a woman's mind from unnecessary chaos. It's a strategic pause that allows her to calculate, adapt, and strike when the moment is right. Silence is not giving up, it's gearing up. When a woman stays silent, she is building a fortress of wisdom, strength, and patience. Every silent woman carries an unshakable resilience within her. She hears every insult, every doubt, and every challenge, but she doesn't let it break her. Instead, she lets it fuel her. She absorbs every bit of negativity and transforms it into a silent determination that no one can see coming. Her silence is a storm waiting to unleash its power. The world underestimates the strength of a silent woman because they confuse her silence for submission. But she is not surrendering. She is observing, learning, and preparing for a victory that will leave everyone stunned. The battles women face are not always fought with words or confrontation. Some of the loudest victories come from enduring in silence. A silent woman doesn't waste her energy on meaningless arguments. She doesn't seek validation from others. She doesn't engage in battles that don't matter in the long run. Instead, she stays focused on her goals. She remains calm, composed, and unshaken by the noise around her. The world may try to provoke her, but she understands that true strength lies in not reacting. Every moment of silence is a step closer to her ultimate victory. Silence allows a woman to remain unpredictable. When she doesn't react, people don't know what she's thinking. They can't anticipate her next move. This unpredictability is her greatest weapon. In a world that thrives on noise, silence becomes a mystery. It keeps people guessing, wondering, and sometimes even fearing what's to come. A silent woman holds the power to control the narrative, to dictate the pace of her battles. She doesn't need to prove herself to anyone because her actions speak louder than words ever could. Her silence is a strategy, not a weakness. There's a unique kind of strength in staying silent when you are being tested. It takes immense courage to hold back when everything inside you wants to scream. But a silent woman knows that reacting out of anger or frustration only gives power to those who seek to harm her. She chooses her battles wisely. She understands that not every fight is worth fighting and not every word deserves a response. Her silence becomes her armor, protecting her from unnecessary conflict and preserving her energy for the battles that truly matter. The victories of silent women are often the most profound. They don't announce their struggles, but when they win, the world cannot ignore them. Their success becomes a testament to their strength, patience, and resilience. They don't seek applause or recognition. They simply let their accomplishments speak for themselves. And when they do speak, their words carry weight because they are spoken with purpose, not out of impulse. A silent woman's voice, when finally heard, echoes louder than any noise ever could. Silence teaches a woman to listen, not just to others, but to herself. It helps her connect with her inner strength and intuition. In silence, she finds clarity. She learns to differentiate between what matters and what doesn't. She discovers her true priorities and focuses on them with unwavering determination. Silence gives her the space to grow, to heal, and to rise above the noise. It allows her to channel her energy into building a life of purpose and meaning. And when she emerges from her silence, she does so as a force to be reckoned with. The most powerful transformations happen in silence. A silent woman doesn't announce her plans. She simply works on them. She doesn't seek validation or approval. She relies on her own strength. And when she achieves what she set out to do, her success becomes undeniable. The world may try to undermine her, but she remains steadfast. Her silence confuses her enemies, but it also inspires those who understand its value. She becomes a symbol of quiet strength and unyielding determination. Silence is not the absence of strength, it is the mastery of it. A silent woman controls her emotions, her reactions, and her energy. She doesn't waste her time on trivial matters. She doesn't let distractions derail her from her purpose. She knows that the loudest battles are often won through quiet resilience. While others waste their strength on meaningless noise, she reserves hers for what truly matters. Her silence is her power, her shield, and her weapon. In silence, a woman finds her true voice. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her actions, her presence, and her achievements speak louder than any words ever could. She becomes a living example of what it means to rise above the noise. Her silence inspires others to find their own strength and to focus on what truly matters. She becomes a beacon of hope, a reminder that true power lies within. A silent woman doesn't seek to prove herself to anyone. She knows her worth, and that is enough. She doesn't need validation or approval because she is confident in who she is and what she stands for. Her silence is her declaration of independence. It is her way of saying, I don't need your permission to be strong, to be successful, or to be happy. Her silence is a reflection of her unshakable self-belief. While the world may try to silence her, a strong woman knows that her silence is her choice, not her defeat. She chooses when to speak and when to stay silent. She chooses her battles and fights them on her own terms. She doesn't let the world dictate her actions or define her worth. Her silence is her way of taking control of her life, her dreams, and her destiny. The power of a silent woman is often underestimated, but those who underestimate her soon realize their mistake. Her silence is not an invitation to walk over her. It is a warning that she is watching, waiting, and preparing. And when the time comes, she will rise, not with noise, but with strength, grace, and resilience. Her silence becomes the foundation of her victory. A silent woman knows that actions speak louder than words. She doesn't waste time explaining herself to those who don't understand her. She doesn't seek to justify her choices or defend her decisions. Instead, she focuses on doing what needs to be done. Her actions become her voice, and they speak volumes. And when she finally achieves her goals, her success becomes undeniable. In silence, a woman finds her strength, her courage, and her purpose. She doesn't let the noise of the world distract her from what truly matters. She stays focused, determined, and unshaken by the chaos around her. Her silence is her superpower, her secret weapon, and her greatest strength. And when she wins the loudest battles, leaving the world in awe of her quiet resilience. The world often misunderstands a silent woman, mistaking her calm demeanor for indifference. But what they fail to realize is that silence is her form of rebellion. It's her way of rising above petty conflicts and proving that she does not need noise to make her presence known. Her silence speaks of her inner strength and her ability to endure without breaking. She lets the world shout and scream while she prepares in silence, knowing that her time to shine will come, and when it does, it will leave everyone speechless. A silent woman doesn't need to react to every challenge. She knows that silence is not weakness, but wisdom. It is her way of conserving energy for what truly matters. She doesn't fight meaningless battles because she knows that true strength is shown by choosing which wars are worth fighting. Every step she takes in silence is a step towards something greater. Her silence is her strategy, her weapon, and her shield. And when she decides to act, her actions will echo louder than the words of 1,000 others. The power of silence lies in its ability to confuse and disarm. When a woman stays silent, she disrupts the plans of those who try to bring her down. They expect her to react, to retaliate, to break under pressure, but her silence denies them that satisfaction. It shows them that she cannot be easily shaken or controlled. Her silence becomes her armor, protecting her from the negativity and toxicity of the world. And in that silence, she becomes unstoppable. Silence gives a woman the space to reflect, to grow, and to rise. While others waste their energy in conflicts, she builds her strength in the quiet. She uses that time to understand herself, her goals, and her purpose. She learns to differentiate between what is worth her time and what isn't. She becomes focused, disciplined, and determined. And when she finally breaks her silence, it is not with noise, but with the undeniable power of her achievements. The loudest battles are often won by those who don't fight with words, but with actions. A silent woman understands this truth better than anyone. She doesn't waste her breath trying to prove her worth to others. Instead, she dedicates herself to becoming the best version of herself. She channels her energy into her dreams, her passions, and her goals. And when she achieves them, the world cannot ignore her. Her silence becomes a state-mantled declaration of her resilience and strength. A silent woman knows the value of timing. She doesn't rush into battles unprepared. She takes her time to observe, to strategize, and to plan her moves. She knows that patience is her greatest ally and that silence is her greatest strength. While others act impulsively, she acts deliberately. And when she strikes, it is with precision, confidence, and power. Her silence is not a sign of defeat, but of preparation. It is the calm before the storm. The world may not understand her silence, but a strong woman doesn't need the world's understanding. She knows her worth, and she knows her purpose. Her silence is not for others, it is for herself. It is her way of finding clarity, of staying grounded, and of protecting her peace. She doesn't let the noise of the world distract her from what truly matters. She remains focused, determined, and unshaken, knowing that her silence is her superpower. A silent woman inspires others with her strength. She shows them that they don't need to shout to be heard. She teaches them that silence can be powerful, that patience can be a weapon, and that resilience can lead to victory. She becomes a role model for those who feel overlooked or underestimated. Her silence becomes a symbol of hope, a reminder that true power comes from within. And her victory becomes a testament to the strength of staying silent in a noisy world. The loudest victories are those that come from quiet perseverance. A silent woman doesn't announce her struggles, but she doesn't hide from them either. She faces them head on with courage and determination. She doesn't let the world's doubts define her. She doesn't let the noise distract her. She stays true to herself, to her goals, and to her dreams. And when she wins, it is not just a victory for herself, but for everyone who has ever doubted the power of silence. The strength of a silent woman lies in her ability to endure. She doesn't crumble under pressure or give in to the demands of the world. She remains steadfast, resilient, and unbreakable. Her silence is her way of showing that she cannot be controlled or defeated. It is her way of taking back her power, of reclaiming her voice, and of proving that she is stronger than anyone could have imagined. Her silence is her rebellion, her strength, and her victory. A silent woman is a force to be reckoned with. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. She doesn't need to fight to prove her worth. She lets her actions, her strength, and her resilience speak for her. She shows the world that silence is not weakness but power, that patience is not surrender but strategy, and that true strength comes from within. Her silence becomes her legacy, a reminder that sometimes the loudest battles are won in the quiet. The world may try to silence her, but a strong woman knows that her silence is her choice. It is her way of taking control, of protecting her peace, and of building her strength. She doesn't let the world dictate her actions or define her worth. She chooses when to speak and when to stay silent. And when she speaks, the world listens, because her words carry the weight of her strength, her wisdom, and her resilience. A silent woman doesn't seek approval or validation. She knows her worth and she knows her purpose. Her silence is her way of staying focused on what truly matters. It is her way of rising above the noise and proving that she doesn't need anyone's permission to be strong, to be successful, or to be happy. Her silence is her declaration of independence, her way of saying, I am enough. In the end, a silent woman always wins, not because she shouts the loudest or fights the hardest, but because she endures, she perseveres, and she triumphs. Her silence becomes her strength, her resilience becomes her power, and her victory becomes her legacy. She proves that sometimes the loudest battles are not fought with words, but with quiet determination. And her silence becomes the loudest victory of all.